But as I was searching for these tier lists, right? Because we're making a Gilmore Girls Island, and I'm like, oh, let's like rank the characters. Like, let's put the characters into tiers. This is one of the tier lists I found. Gilmore Girls characters. They just added one. It's just Michelle. There's no other. There's nothing else on this list. It's just Michelle. So it's like my favorite tier list I've ever seen. Obviously S tier. Hold on. Hold on. I mean, I'm organizing my kind of Disney cards while I'm listening to you because I bought a couple new packs. Ooh. I promise I have a actual other tier list too, like this one. This one was nice because they added names to all of them. Not that I remember like who some of them are. Oh, 12 hours is so long though, huh? We have so much to do. I went to the gym and then did my laundry. I heard. That's awesome. I have to move my whoa. That was strong. I have to move my laundry out of the dryer, but we're here for the next 12 hours, so we can do it later. We're gonna be productive today. We're gonna be productive? Well, not me. I'm gonna play video games for most of the day. I'm gonna play video games for most of the day. 12 hours? Yeah, Dana. You need to turn on Discord notifications. You'll be in the loop. You'll be in the loop. Hold on. Let me whoa. 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 Dana, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me get a little BuzzFeed quiz too. Maybe we even do two. I wanted to start with this. I feel like I do have them on. I don't know how these things work. I'm 87. Yeah, we're gonna be video game productive, of course. After my errands, I'm gonna crochet. Oh, that's nice. It's already a little too warm for this. Oh, I want to cut my hair so badly. Okay, let me close this window a little bit or make it smaller. Can we see? Okay. I'm supposed to take my med. I already did though. Okay. Wow, it's 9 a.m. Let me actually zoom this out a little bit. What? 120. Okay. So we have S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. And then all the characters are named. No, it's 12 p.m. I'm gonna play video with you all day. We love to hear it, Dana. Doyle, I actually think is A tier. Cause I don't know. He feels like a over the top caricature, which is like the perfect Paris like counterpart. He's very self conscious. Like I don't know. He feels like a very full character while also being like incredibly shallow, one dimensional character, and I kind of love him. Drella S tier. She isn't in any of the seasons except season 7, but the perfect attitude harpist. Like I think she's so funny. If the show had kept going on, I wish she had played like a bigger part. Oh, yo, I got an intention journal the other day. I think I was talking about this, and honestly, I think it's changing my life. I like reflect on my day, and then I'll write like what I want to do, like how I want to feel the next day, like what my intention is. Hence the name intention journal. This is not it, but I'm holding a journal. I keep it next to my bed. I don't know. It's just like it's so fun, like to just like write it down, and then somehow like you go into the next day feeling like, oh yeah, like I have this like goal. I have like this thing that I need to do, and I'm like ready for it. I'm like raring to go. Like I think that's like super cool. So I've been really enjoying it. Finn, B tier. I mean, he's just there to, I, what's the word? Prop up Logan's like toxic personality, like his bad traits. So, like, whatever. Floyd Styles, I don't remember who this is. I'm just going to put him in D. I think he was only in like 1 or 2 episodes. I'm decorating. I'm not decorating. Ooh. Francine A. She's the perfect early enemy to Rory. Georgia Hayden, completely useless character. Dean's sister. She's in like 3 episodes. Doesn't really do anything. Gil, S tier. The old man. Not actually that old, but part of their band. Finn is my goldfish's name, so he's S tier. Wait, you have a goldfish too? You have a little dog, you have a goldfish. Giselle Gerard, she's Michelle's mom. She's only in 1 episode. Love her too, though. S tier for sure. No name relation to Gilmore Girls, though. No, of course. His name is just Finn because he's a fish. I get it. I love that. That's good stuff. Glenn is another newspaper worker. He's only in like season 4 and 5, I think. I mean, he's just like, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's more B. There's not really much going on with him. Gypsy's A. Most of the townspeople are at least A. The ones that aren't like major parts, major roles, but like exist to have like one line, like quippy things to say. Incredible. Aura, hello, welcome in. I'm doing a Gilmore Girls tier list right now of all the characters. Well, most of the characters. I don't know who they didn't add. Some of them that they added, though, are only in like a single episode, which hilarious. Okay. Charleston's A. I don't know who Harry Potter is. Like, he was a really, like, this seems like he was the perfect, like, school administrator, I feel like. Like, he was, like, very understanding, but, like, definitely seemed to, like, care about his, like, students and stuff. I think he was, like, really good. He was named Finn because I rescued him from my dad's turtle tank. He was the last goldfish alive hiding in the corner, so I named him Finn, which means the end in French. Ah, I see. Luke is S tier, and I will accept nothing else. Well, we'll see when we get there. We'll see where he's at when I get to him. So Harry, sorry, you're in D tier, I don't remember. Henry Cho, B. Honor, she doesn't really have anything going on. We'll see when we get there. Jackson, for sure, A. Lainey, hello, welcome in. Jackson's one of my favorite side characters as well. His little beanie. I don't know, he's just like the plant guy, little farmer. I love him. They're gonna cancel me? We haven't even gotten there yet. Who knows? Jamie, B. I don't know. Look, you can argue your point when we get there. Oh, Floyd Styles is Jason Styles' dad. Jason is C. I feel like he didn't do anything. Like, he was Lorelai's love interest for, what, season 4 and 5? And then they just dropped him. They were just done. He didn't have any, like, there was nothing. He, like, only existed for Lorelai to realize that, like, she liked Luke. That was it. We'll skip Jess for now. Jimmy, Jess's dad. I mean, as a person, I would not like this guy at all. But I think he's an okay character. I mean, C. Right? Not super huge on him. Kyle, Dean's friend who joins the Navy. I'm going to put him in A because he had some good some good lines, some funny ones. Wow, they really added so many characters to this list that like Lily was in one episode, two. Gonna put her in D. Keone B. She's just diet Lane. Lindsay Lister, Dean's wife. C. I feel like she only exists to move that Dean plot point forward, which is important, but like didn't have anything going for her. Liz is A. Liz is great. We'll skip Logan for now. Trix, S. Her character is so funny to me. Very old school, like another person that I would not like at all in real life. I'd be like, how can you think like this? How do you exist as a person? But absolutely incredible as like a character for the show. Lorelai will skip for now. Louise didn't really have anything going for her. Lucy. Kristen Ritter. Who the heck is this? Who is Lucy? I'm going to put her in D. Lulu, we love just because Kirk deserves love too. Madeline, we're going to put in the same category as Louise. Marty, again, a character that I feel like needed way more. I feel so bad. Marty should have been like a... I feel like... I don't know why... she didn't have like more of a storyline. They set him up to have like something with Rory, and then like again he just got like dropped. I don't know, just kind of like sad. Brightness, thank you for the lurk. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know. Max is A tier. Like he was fine. I think he was like an important stepping stone for Lorelai. Mia was like a important character, I think, to the Gilmores, but she's only in 2 episodes. Doesn't really have much going. Michelle S. Michelle is the perfect, like again, caricature of like a person. Most of these S tier, they kind of are that. Like, I don't know. I either like them a lot, and I think they're a hilarious character, or I'm like, this is such a well designed character that they made. Miss Celine, again, S. S, S, S. Who's Pete? Like, what? Mitchum, D. I hate him. He's a good character, but... like, what? Miss Patty, S. Anyone with Miss in their name, I think, is just hilarious. It's Patty with her 5 husbands or whatever it is. Maury doesn't have really anything happening. He's just there for Babette, I feel like. So we're going to put him in B. Babette, probably S. Wherever she is. Mr. Kim hardly exists in the show. Mrs. Kim is interesting. Because I'm like torn. Like, I think she thinks she's a good parent. But I think that her relationship with Lane is also very flawed. But like her heart's in the right place, right? Like she just doesn't, she hasn't like adapted to what is like a modern world at the time, you know? And then you see like during their wedding scene or whatever that she also had like similar problems with her own mother, which I think is like hilarious. But then like how does she not see that and then like adjust in her own life, you know? But I still think that she's like a good character. Nicole barely exists in the show. She's the lawyer that Luke briefly dates and marries. I can't type. She's trying her best. Olivia, do not know who this is. Paris is S tier. She's so funny as well. I don't know. She always has like some like weird hijink too. Paul Anka, I mean, S. How can I not put a dog at the top tier all the way to the left? Not that that really matters. Pete, don't know who you are. Penelin, you're barely in the show too. You only exist to like annoy Richard and Emily. Love Paris. She's amazing. She's one of my favorite characters as well. I mean, all these S tiers are great. Again, I wish Marty had more. Like, it should have been Marty, I feel like. You know, instead of Logan. Rachel, barely in the show as well. We'll skip Richard. Robert. I mean, B, it's fine. He's whatever. We'll skip Rory. Rune, D. I just hate him. Shane, only in a couple episodes. Who are some of these people? Sherry Tinsdale? I don't know who you are. I recognize her, but she doesn't really do anything, right? Shira's a good character. I'm gonna put her in B. Suki S. One of my favorites as well. Ah, poor Jackson in A tier while I put Suki in S. Unlucky. Unlucky for him. Gary I actually also really like. Gary is Liz's husband. And I don't know, he seems like a really clueless kind of guy, but like a really like well-meaning person. And he's probably somebody that I would like actually get along with. So Tana is their roommate in her freshman year. I'll put her in A. The 16-year-old genius. She doesn't have much going on, but I like her. Taylor, I would hate him as a person, but he's also one of the best characters in the show. He's really well designed. The second troubadour, we'll put him in A. He's not the town troubadour. He works in a Radio Shack or whatever, but Tobin's not really in the show. Tom I like a lot. He seems like a decent guy. The contractor. The town troubadour, S tier. I really like this character, especially in like the later seasons. Like I think like 6 and 7, I feel like he's always placed perfectly to have like a message. I feel like the show gets like much more serious in season 6 and 7. Tristan's D. Super annoying, didn't like. Young Chu, not really in the show much either. Zach, I do not like. I don't think that he was a great character. Like, I don't know what happened. Where Zach ended up becoming like the Dave replacement. Because Dave, S tier. Dave really liked Lane, was like trying to do all this stuff, hide. I'm assuming, the actor for Dave just got like a different gig and they had to write him off the show. But like, he was really good. And then Zach was just kind of like moody, annoying, like angsty guy that like doesn't know how to like communicate well. I don't know. Zach's not in D tier, but he's not a like. He's one of my least favorites. Andrew, the bookstore owner, a another one character that has like great little quippy one-liners. Anna Nardini is knockoff Lorelai, which I understand why she is. I understand why they made her that way. But B. That character kind of derived a bit, and it's sad. It's just like he was fine. He was a fine character, but I, it should have they like if Dave should have just stayed on the show. Obviously, you can't always have that, but he was a better match for Lane, and he had like a more thought out storyline to match hers. So, I don't know. I think April gets a lot of hate, but I think she's an A tier character. I understand why she's like not really well liked. Here's like the problem with the show as a whole. I feel like in season 5, Luke and Lorelai are like that felt like the end game for the show was Luke and Lorelai. Because the show kept going, they needed to create problems for them, which is always like a problem with shows that kind of have that like, oh yeah, like this is like the thing that everything's been leading up to. Like at the end of season 4 or whatever, when it feels like they have like finally like accomplished their goal. They still have 5, 6, and 7 to go. At the time, I'm not sure if they knew that, right? They could be like, this next season's going to be our last season. When it gets renewed, you then have to like throw a wrench to create more problems for your like end game. And that's what April is to me. And I think that like as a whole, she's a fine character, but because like she exists to be a problem for their couple, I think she gets a lot of hate. Which is fine, whatever. Reverend Archie, he's in B tier. He's okay. Asher Fleming, I thought that was super weird. The Paris Asher thing. I wasn't a huge fan. So he's in C. Babette, S. Hilarious, amazing. 10 out of 10. A queen. But I thought... Oh, wait. Whoops. Bo, weird. Didn't like him. Great actor. Didn't like him. D for sure. Bill really was just Glenn 2, it feels like. These are the same character. Mira, hello. Bootsy, don't remember. Brad, A. He wasn't in the show a lot. He got bullied, but I kind of loved him. Brian, way better than Zach. Way better. A tier for sure. Like, he seemed like a thoughtful, like, I don't know, individual. A little bit of a pushover, but, like, good. Caesar, A. Love this guy, too. Luke's number 1, I suppose. Cat Kirk, we gotta put animals at the top. There's just no way. I'm gonna put Cyrus here, too. All the animals, S tier. Perfect. It doesn't get any better than that. Christopher, I'm gonna I'm gonna put in B. I think that he's trying, but Christopher actually strikes me as like a not good person. Like I think he's like a very selfish individual. And he seems like very helpless and like always asking like his daughter or Lorelai for like help with things that he really needs to be able to accomplish on his own. And it's just like you're almost 40. Grow up, bro. Like lock it in. I only left my house at 2 times today. Ooh, what did you do? What did you get? I love that. Oh no, Clara's Dean's sister. Who the heck did I put in? Georgia Hayden? Oh, whoops. Clara's a D tier though. All good. Georgia is GG. She's actually still D tier. Don't like her. Who? Hello. Colin. Same as Robert and Finn. B tier. They are what they are. The rabbi. I feel like he, again, doesn't really have much going for him either. I'm just going to put him in B. Emily is S. She's hilarious, amazing. Again, like, she has, like, a kind of really stringent view of how things are, like, supposed to be, and she doesn't know how to, like, adjust. But I think that does make her, like, a really interesting character. Richard, I'm going to similarly put in S tier. They're just two old school people that, like, don't really... What show is this? This is Gilmore Girls. And this is the island I'm working on right now. Kirk is for sure S. And I might even go and say he's the best character in the show. And when it comes to non-main characters, Kirk is maybe the best one. Absolutely hilarious. Lane, also S. There might be a little bit of bias here. I don't know. Lane, I think, is also... Lane's storyline in season 7 isn't great. But I think as a whole, she's a character that you have a lot of sympathy for because her relationship with her mom is very bad. And you just like keep hoping that like, okay, maybe it's going to get like better. And it kind of does. But I do think her storyline kind of falls off. But she's like a great best friend for Rory, at least early on. Dean is one of my least favorites overall. I put him above D when it comes to like the three main Rory love interests because I really don't like that he cheats on his wife. I think that it's like a really foul storyline and then he doesn't really like again it's just like similar to like Christopher. It's like you just need to grow up. Like I don't know. And I get that they like he got married like right out of high school, so he's like 18. But I just like I don't like how his storyline went. I saw a clip of him on TikTok and didn't like him. I don't like him. I think his very first appearances, he's like fine. But he like it gets bad. It gets bad. So we have Jess, Logan, Lorelai, and Rory left. What are we thinking? They didn't put Luke on this list. That's actually so weird. They intentionally left Luke off. Okay, let me just get a Luke. Let me get a Luke image really fast. There he is. Okay. So now we have Luke. He's the best one. You think Luke's the best one? You think Luke's the best one? Yeah, I'll put Luke in S tier. It really needs no explanation. The thing about Luke... Wait, that's A tier. I'll put Luke in S. The thing about Luke... He... has a major problem with communicating. Like, he doesn't... He's one of my favorite characters. But he doesn't know how to effectively communicate what he needs and wants, which is where a lot of like the problems lie in the show. And like at the end of season 6, you know, April comes into his life and he pushes Lorelai to the side, right? Obviously she has a problem with that. He doesn't realize that he's doing that because he's like, oh, I need to like deal with this like new, I don't want to say problem because now he suddenly has like a teenage daughter, right? But he doesn't know how to be like, hey, Lorelai, I need to figure out what this means for me before I can have you like integrate into this. He never says that. He's just like, oh, like I kind of just want you to like stay away. And like there's no good reason for him for doing that in her mind. Not only the fact that he hid it for 2 months, like he knew for 2 months and didn't know how to say it, where it's just like, if he had just told her initially and then explained what he needed, I don't think they would have had a blow up like they did. I don't think he's necessarily emotionally immature. I think he's a very bad communicator. Like, that's his issue. He doesn't know how to say what he needs. Which is really bad for, like, a man in his 40s. Like, again, like, you need to... Like, you need to know better. Like, you need to do better. He's still a really good character. But it's just like... Okay, dude, like... So... I am going through my rewatch right now, right? I just finished season 6 yesterday. And Rory is not as annoying as I remember her being, even in 2017 when I watched it last, which I guess was a long time ago. Like I'm gonna say like Rory is an S tier for a similar reason that a lot of the problems that I have with her, I think most millennials don't know how to express their feelings and needs, honestly. This is true, and I think that especially during the time, like, the show is from 2000, it ran from, like, 2000 to 2007, right? So, like, even back then, we weren't as, like, open about, like, hey, like, express what you need. Like, it's okay to, like, be an emotional, like, person, because we're humans and stuff. Like, Luke is a very stereotypical, like, early 2000s, like, masculine person. And, like... I don't know, he fits that mold very well. Whereas I don't think that like his character, like if the show were to be like remade today, I wouldn't think that his character would like make as much sense because I think we're like a lot more like fluid with talking about things like that. Like he feels like he can't because like that would be unmasculine of him. Whereas like that's not really so much of a thing today, depending on like where you are. Rory's the her like I think a lot of the reason that like people aren't super into her character is because she is a kid that is learning and like growing, and like a lot of the mistakes she makes and things that she does are mistakes that just people make while they're growing up. Um, and she's like a really interesting like person because in a lot of ways, I think that she has like Lorelai's like kind of like headstrongness, but she doesn't really have the same like humor. So like when she ends up in a situation that's like uncomfortable, she can't play it off the same way that Lorelai can. Cause like Rory will end up in something and then like kind of freeze up. It's like, oh, she doesn't know what to say either, and she's like, it makes the situation seem so much worse. Whereas when Lorelai ends up in a situation like that, she can kind of immediately play it off with like some quippy joke. And she's also like, it's interesting because she's a character that somehow becomes like of two worlds, right? Because once her grandparents start paying for Chilton and then Yale and everything, she doesn't have the same struggles that she had in the past, but she still has that background. So a lot of the things that like she doesn't relate to the people that she's like now peers with, but she also doesn't have the same worries she used to have. How old is the act? I think she was like 18. When the show started, I think she was 18 years old. Because if I recall, she dropped out of NYU to start working on Gilmore Girls. Like she was in, like she had just started college or something. Okay. Jess, S tier. And they made his character really good. One of the issues I had with Jess was almost all of his character development. So 19. She was 19. Almost all of his character development happened off screen. Like you can tell that he's like a good guy, but in a very similar vein as Luke, which makes sense because they're like related. He doesn't know how to communicate either, but in kind of a different way. Um, he kind of has like this like grew up in like with an absent mom on like the streets of New York and has to have like this certain exterior to like be accepted, but he's like beneath it all like a really intelligent and like kind of individual, but he doesn't know how to like be a vulnerable person. When he finally figures that out way later, you never saw how he got from that point. Like from when he leaves and goes to California and then comes back and all of a sudden he's in Philadelphia and it's like, oh, I wrote a book and it's like all this stuff. It's like I would have really liked to see the things that happened between that. And obviously like he's not a main character of the show. He's not as important. Like he makes a few more appearances and you kind of just like see him become like a decent good person. But you know, I also really like when Rory's having problems with Logan and she goes to Philadelphia and they kiss. Jess, unlike Dean, is the kind of person that's like, okay, we can't like go. Like, I don't want you to cheat. You know, it's like, I. That's like such like a bigger, like person. I didn't like Dean. I don't know. Dean isn't good. Like Dean's not a good character. Hi Chelsea, by the way. I saw you said you love Jess, and then I was talking. Sorry. Yeah, she's in almost every episode. I think there's 155 or something, and she's in 154. I don't know why she's like not in one. Lorelai's in all of them. This might be controversial. Okay. First, I'll say that I think Marty needed to have like I don't know. There needed to be like exposition on his character. I think that like Rory should have had a relationship with Marty, and it seemed like that's what they were setting up, and I don't know why they didn't. with like the addition of Logan. But I think Logan, of the three that she actually dates, is my favorite. Um, and that's only because like they make Jess into like this like I think really Jess at the end probably would have been the best option. But because I don't see how he got there, I don't have the same feelings towards him. Whereas I see Logan go from like this kind of rude party boy to someone who's like much more responsible and like caring and like very cognizant of like Rory's feelings. And I really do like his like character arc as a whole. Despite him also having like problems. I think he ultimately is like my favorite of the three. And then there's Lorelai. She's the best. The show would not have been nearly as successful if she didn't exist. Luke is the best. I can't hear you. I don't know what to tell you. Lorelai moves the whole show forward. She has the most character development. Hi, Mads. Hello. Like, she makes lots of mistakes too. What I think is interesting about Lorelai is, she has Rory at 16, so they do have this kind of like sisterly best friend relationship for a lot of the show. But she also needs to be like a mom. And it's interesting to see like how she navigates that relationship with like Rory, who is her best friend, but also she needs to be a mom to her. Hi, Abby. Thank you for the heart me. And again, like Lorelai makes like a lot of mistakes too. And a lot of that comes down to Lorelai also being like a bad communicator. Especially in season 6. Like, she goes from 0 to 100 like instantly. Like, Luke, I think, needed to express to Lorelai his needs when it came to April.
Go. More passion, more passion, more passion, more energy, more footwork, more footwork, more footwork, more passion, more energy.
But Lorelai kind of stews on it. Like, she's just like, she sees the actions that Luke are taking, and I think, like, rightfully, she feels pushed aside. Like, she kind of, like, I think that's like a normal reaction, but I also think that she did a really bad job at saying what she needed as well. And I think that's like fair to like feel that way, but then she goes like she has like dinner with her parents with Chris and like the therapist character that was supposed to be the setup for Chris, and then she has like that session with him or with her, and she is like, oh, like she expresses that she's like unhappy and she doesn't think she's ever gonna get married, and it shows that through the other like episodes, and obviously like she feels very like I think self-conscious because she's almost 40 at this point, and she hasn't been married, has always lived like alone. Hi, Hannah. Look at that level 5 member. Holy smokes. I'm doing a Gilmore Girls tier list. Yeah, she's a really good mom. She works super hard to be like a provider too. Like she immediately like gets into action as like a 16-year-old. Hannah, thank you for the heart me. She jumps into action, starts working at the Independence Inn. She like works her way up, has like builds all these good relationships, and like creates a space where like Rory can like grow up. There's like an interesting thing with that too, is like again, because of their like relatively close age gap and like their kind of best friendship, Rory, I feel like also doesn't really get to have a childhood in the same way that a lot of other kids do. Like she is the support system for her mom, and in a lot of ways, she also becomes like a caregiver type of role for Lorelai. Talking about like her like love life and like feelings towards things, and it's just like I don't really feel like that ever should have been Rory's job, but because that's the relationship that they have, that's just like the way it was. But I think that like it makes it interesting again for when Rory has issues. She doesn't always know how to handle it because she was sometimes the one dealing with those like things for her mom rather than the other way around. So she didn't learn like I don't want to say the coping mechanisms, but like the right way of dealing with like situations that she didn't know how to handle. I don't know. I don't know. But I think I think that's the list. I mean, S tier is looking good. S tier is looking really good. I would have liked to see this explored more still. D tier is really funny because most of them I just don't remember being on the show, and then it's just like, oh yeah, I don't like this guy at all. But we have more. I have this one too. The best couples. Okay. This one made me very uncomfortable. Once again, Paris and Asher, A Crime Against Humanity. Not okay. I didn't like it. And I know that that's something that still happens in real life. Like, I know that large age gaps exist and it's fine and whatever. I did not personally like it in the show at all. I was like, oh God. Especially because that's Paris's freshman year of college. She's 18. Asher is 60. Like, ha. Oh, I thought that said haha. Hannah, guess what? Wait, where is Rory and Dean? Right there. Yeah. Well, okay. Dean and Rory early on isn't bad. I think that like first relationship wise, like they're fine. I think by the end of the show, I would have hated it. But I think as it is like early on, it's like completely normal, right? Like they're like fine, you know? Max and Lorelai, okay, I guess. It felt like they were like they just needed to create something because a lot of the show is obviously Lorelai trying to find like her person. What should I order for lunch? Pizza, sushi, sandwich, wings. Here. How about this? I'll do this. I'll do this for you. We're spinning it. You should order a spinach wrap. Lorelai and Jason, just because it didn't have an ending at all. Do you want me to respin for you? Here, I'll respin for you. I'll respin for you. If you don't want a spinach wrap, We won't do a spinach wrap. A sandwich! Like, this could have been something interesting. Jason definitely seemed like he was on the spectrum, which is fine. But he has, like, a lot of really specific things, and, like, he has, like, a lot of super weird stuff, and then he just kind of gets written off the show. Like, I think there could have been something very interesting there, and then there just isn't. Which, you know, whatever. Marty and Lane. Not Marty. Dave and Lane. I feel like was exceptional. I wish he had stayed on the show. Zach and Lane. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Just horrible. Lorelai and this other dude that owns the coffee shop. Not actually a crime against humanity, but like, he's on 6 episodes. They just had to turn the car wash off because someone wasn't listening. Uh-oh. What the heck? Is this Kirk and Lulu? Twice? Wait, Kirk and Lulu 3 times? Huh? It's back on? Yes. Babette and Maury. That's a hell yes. Love them. Jess and whatever her name is. I mean, she's just a plot point to move the Jess Rory story forward. Luke and Rachel. I think that was fine. Rachel, very early on in the show, points out how Luke isn't true to himself and like at expressing his feelings. And that's like huge. But he doesn't learn the lesson even after she like tells him that and then leaves. And it's like, all right, man. Richard and Emily, 10 out of 10. Kirk and Lulu 3 times. Don't know how this happened. You know, there's a lid. There's a lid to every Tupperware. And Kirk and Lulu, it fits. Good for them. Paris and what's his name? How am I spacing out? Doyle. That's a good match. Again, they're both very particular and strange. Lorelai and Chris don't like it, but part of it makes sense just because, like, the history. Gary and Liz, yes, amazing, 10 out of 10. Paris and her first boyfriend. This leads into this, and I don't like it. Dean and his wife, they were great together. They should have just stayed together. All done. Perfect. Luke and the lawyer, Nicole, it was fine. It was fine. How have I already been going for an hour? Okay. Then we have Luke and Lorelai, Logan and Rory, Rory and Jess. What are our thoughts? What are our thoughts? Whoop. I need to cut my hair so bad. Look at all this. Look at that. And I have so much more back here. Like, are we serious? I really only want to put one in this top category. Getting turkey sandwich and strawberry shake. Oh, that sounds so good. I'm gonna pee really fast. You all stew on these last three. Lorelai and Luke, Rory and Logan, and Rory and Jess. Okay. So, I feel like you might not agree, but Jess and Rory, just in the hell yes. They're great. And I think it was like a very important stepping stone for Rory. Um, but I don't think, it's possible that they could have been like each other's endgame. But I don't think that that was like, I don't think they're ultimately right for each other. And I think Rory does realize that too. And that's partially why, like, the Marty relationship doesn't necessarily make sense either, even though I think it would have been, like, really interesting. Oh, you're doing wedding stuff today. What are you doing? That's fun. What doing? What doing? I think that, like, Rory realizes that, like, that's kind of like one of the things that makes her character annoying. I think even though it's like more of a passive lesson, she realizes she's more from like Logan's world than like Jess's. But I'll also put Logan and Rory in just the hell yes, because there can only be one in the epitome of love itself, and it's obviously Luke and Lorelai. That's the whole show. It's those two. Although, I will say, Gary and Liz, they're up there. They're up there for sure. I think Gary is like a super solid dude, really solid character, and like a very grounding force for Liz. Even though like neither of them have too much screen time, I think that like they're like a really good match as well. Sadly, there can only be one up here, and it's these two, as it must be. Be back soon. Good luck. Have fun. All right, I have one more, not tier list, two more. But obviously, we need to find out which character we are. All right, where do you want to live? Definitely not this. My hometown is Los Angeles. So I mean, I guess we'll do that one, huh? Pick your favorite music group. The Beatles. Okay, they can't say the Bangles. Don't have time to listen to music. I mean, I guess out of these options, I'm gonna pick the Beatles. What kind of life do you want? Oh no, City Boy. It's your go-to snack. Who's not a snack person? This person can't be trusted. It's ice cream. What do you typically do on the weekends? All right, I'm streaming for 12 hours today. So, what do we think most matches streaming for 12 hours? Binge watching your favorite movie? I guess. I wouldn't consider it work. What's your favorite drink? It's coffee. No! All right, never mind. We're ending stream. It was a great run. It's only going to be an hour long. Redo it. I'll redo it. I'll redo it. Where do you want to live? Honestly, I don't know. Pick your favorite music group. Nirvana. What kind of life do you want to live? Small town life. Imagine it still just gives me Dean. Ice cream. What do I typically do on the weekends? Eat lunch at a diner. Coffee. Yay. Ugh. This is a crazy gift to use. I feel like I cheated. I feel like I cheated because I kind of had an idea of which... Should we do this one too? What's your favorite piece of clothing? Okay, well this is like... My favorite piece of clothing is a flannel. So I guess comfortable shirt? Okay, I'm picking coffee again though. What are your main characteristics? Controlling, control freak, trustworthy, loyal, lovable. What? Huh? Okay. Loyal, strong, protective over family and loved ones. Selfish, only cares about power alone. Sarcastic, charming, flirty, selfish, extremely protective, and mysterious. Compassionate, empathetic, kind, and friendly. I guess I'm picking that one. Who makes the cutest couple? It's Lorelai and Luke. Paris and Jess? I hate that. What's the most important thing to you in a song? I guess vocals. What concert would you like to attend? Bob Dylan, Taylor Swift, Coldplay, Rihanna, The Bangles. Okay. I say this not as a Taylor Swift fan, but I do think one of her shows would be incredible. You guys can all tell me, because surely most of you have been. What's your main hobby? Watching movies, shopping, soccer, reading, music, hanging out with family. I guess watching movies. Logan?